I got a hole in my booty climbing up on the rocks. Thank you for tuning into my channel. So I am here today with a video that has been highly promised by me and also highly anticipated by many of you that follow me on Instagram. If you do not follow me on Instagram, then you are really missing out on the day-to-day things that I do in my life. I'm sure you're already aware that I don't make YouTube videos as often as I used to, as my business priorities have changed a little bit. My focus has changed, and I am definitely doing more video content, but in a very different way. I'm doing it on Instagram a lot more now with the daily Instagram stories. And I recently went to Aruba. I stayed in Aruba for my birthday.
It's my birthday! Turn up!
My husband and I went. We were there from March 3rd to March 8th. And we had a really good time. I wanted to come today to create a video that I promised on Instagram to basically give the breakdown of what it costs to travel to Aruba. Now, I know from my Instagram feed and all the photos that I've been sharing that a lot of you have actually traveled to Aruba, so you may not necessarily need a video like this. But for those of you who are considering traveling the world and traveling to other places, there may be some mystery around what does it actually cost to do so. And of course, you can go on a website and figure out what's the cost for the airfare, what's the cost for various hotels. Of course you could do that, but why not get it from someone who's been there, done that, someone you trust, and someone who can give you, the information that she has from a first-hand experience.
We have a presentation today in the resort. Most likely it's timeshares,
Now I want to start by saying I am not a budget traveler, so this is not budget-friendly ways, how to save money. This is not that. I am also not like the most luxurious traveler. I don't look for the 5-star hotels. I don't try to sit in first class. I don't eat at the most fancy restaurants for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's not me either. I do look for a good deal. If I'm looking to travel somewhere, I try to go with something that is affordable for me. But like I said, it's not budget, okay? I just want to put that out there because if the prices come across as more expensive than what you were probably expecting, I don't want you to be under the impression that I was trying to give budget-friendly options or how to travel on a budget. This is not that. This is just how much did it cost for me and my husband to go to Aruba, and if you're looking to do the same in a way that is reasonable, I would say, then this is going to be helpful for you. And then even if you are looking to travel on a budget, what you can learn from my experience is maybe ways you could do it less and save more money or whatnot, but you will have to be able to do that type of deduction and reasoning and planning on your own. So first things first, the most expensive part of traveling is usually going to be your hotel accommodations and also your airfare. Obviously, when you get to the island, you may spend maybe a similar amount to what you might have paid for airfare within the whole entire experience there, but that is also 100% up to you and how much you spend money on doing different things. So when it came to airfare, you can of course go to various websites and you can look up flights. I have a Bank of America travel rewards card that my husband and I use for pretty much everything. One of my business partners, if you follow me on Instagram, I've shared the women that have a really positive impact on my life, and one of my business partners is Miss Church Dress, and her name is Aquila, and she talks to me about using my credit cards to work for me and to get me the most benefit and deals. So my husband and I started using our credit card more often, like how someone would use a debit card, where you go to the grocery, you swipe the credit card, buying gas, swipe the credit card, even certain utilities like cell phone and car insurance and energy bills, things like that. Go anywhere we go, grocery, market, whatever, we swipe the credit card. And then before the next billing period, we pay that off with the money that's sitting in our checking account that we normally would have been swiping to pay for. We then pay it that way. So we get the travel rewards benefits by doing it that way. So we started this in November so we could accumulate more travel points to put towards our spending. So with that being said, Bank of America offers additional points and bonuses when you purchase your flights and your hotel through their service. When I went on Expedia, or Travelocity just to get an idea of what flights were costing, and then I went on Bank of America, it was a little bit more expensive, but the difference was maybe like $10 more. It wasn't like hundreds of dollars more. So with that being said, I decided to weigh my options. Does it make sense to save $10 and go with like a Travelocity or Expedia? Or is it benefiting me more to just spend that extra $10 but then get like triple the points for travel, which in essence will eventually be able to pay off this flight, at some point. So I went with the Bank of America. So we chose to go with JetBlue, and we were flying out on a Saturday. Our flights were $902.12 for the both of us. So obviously Saturday is like one of the most expensive days to travel. It's the weekend. If you are in a situation where you can afford to travel during the week, I would recommend you do so because you will save money, and that's a way to make this more budget friendly. But at 902, it basically was like $400 and something per person. And what I would suggest to those of you who are trying to figure out when should you travel, because obviously the day of the week may be cheaper to travel, but by being there for so many days, I learned a little bit about the island, and I would recommend that someone extend their trip further into the week than Wednesday. Like, I think you should leave like on a Wednesday personally. So our trip was originally, we were going to be there Saturday until Wednesday, but we were delayed another day. And I honestly felt like Wednesday was a really, really boring day on the island, that not that much stuff is really happening, and then we left on Thursday. So if you want to stay there for a longer period of time, I would say go up a little earlier. Like Thursday might be lit, Friday will definitely be lit, Saturdays are good, Sundays are good, Mondays even felt really good on the island, but for some reason Wednesday was just so boring. It was such a boring day. But yeah, let me go on to actual hotel price. So in Aruba, the hotels are broken up by low-rise hotels and high-rise hotels. And if you've ever been to New York City, then you've seen a lot of high-rise buildings. That's pretty much all it is. These high-rise hotels, they're just bigger hotels, and the low-rise hotels, they're just like 5 stories instead of like 20. We stayed in the low-rise hotel area. At the time that we were booking the trip, I did not know of the difference between the low-rise and the high-rise. I didn't know this. I also didn't know where things would be happening throughout the day, throughout the night. I didn't know about nightlife. I didn't know where anything was going on. So I just booked the hotel based on what I saw. I decided to book the Divi Resort Hotel, and the total price for our trip originally was $1,518, and that was to stay at the Divi Golf Resort from Saturday, and we were going to check out on Wednesday. Unfortunately, here in New York, where I live, there was a nor'easter. So Tuesday night, we were out celebrating my birthday, and we learned about the nor'easter, and our flight actually was canceled on Tuesday night. So for that reason, instead of checking out on Wednesday, we actually had to check into another hotel room, which added $249 onto our bill. Unexpectedly, but at the same time, it was obviously for our safety because the airport was not flying out any flights. And number 2, we got an extra day in paradise, so really no complaints there. But our original value was supposed to be $1,518, and then when you add the $249 on there, what's that? $1,767 is the overall expense that we did. Now let me just talk to you a little bit about Divi, because I know that this will help you make a decision on whether or not you want to stay there. Divi is the type of resort where you have villas. So every room offers a full kitchen, and I do mean full, not a mini kitchen, a full kitchen. You have a large refrigerator, you have a sink, you have a dishwasher, cabinets filled with all silverware. You have plates, bowls, glasses, you have silver utensils, everything you need is there. And also a full range stove and oven. So if you're gonna be traveling with children or maybe lots of family and you know that you probably will take advantage of eating in your room and making your own food, Divi's a great place to stay. And I got to find out about Divi because when we originally had planned to go Aruba a couple years ago, but we weren't able to make that trip and we decided to go to Puerto Rico instead. And the reason why I was booking Divi is because we were traveling as a family. It was going to be me, my husband, Elle, and Joelle. And at the time, Elle wasn't even 1 year old. In fact, I booked the trip before she was even born. I was still pregnant. And we knew it would probably make a lot more sense to have a room where we could cook their meals, make it easy for us to travel, and spend more time doing adventurous things than sitting in restaurants eating different meals throughout the day. So when it came time to book our trip this time, I had already booked at Divi before. Like I said, I canceled the reservation, so I decided to just book with Divi again. I did look up Hilton because I'm a Hilton Rewards member. However, the Hilton was so much more expensive than Divi that I just didn't see the point in making that expense. It didn't make sense to me. So Divi does offer all-inclusive, but we didn't decide to go with the all-inclusive. And in the resort that we stayed at, all-inclusive is optional, but Divi does have other resorts. They have Divi all-inclusive. They have the Divi Gulf where we stayed. They have Divi Tamarin, and they have Divi Phoenix. And I believe at all of the locations, all-inclusive is an option except for at the all-inclusive one. That is the one, just based on the name, I'm gonna assume is all-inclusive. You can go to any of the resorts to spend time on the facilities, which was something that I really liked about Divi, is they had a shuttle system that took you around the resort. So if there was something going on at another location, or if there's a restaurant at another location, one of the Divi locations, you don't have to walk there. There's a shuttle system that will take you throughout the Divi locations, and also to a local plaza where they have the casino and everything else. So that was a really nice convenience that Divi offered that we really, really appreciated. So part of the reason why we didn't go with all-inclusive is simply because we knew we weren't going to be spending a lot of time in the actual resort. My plan before even, booking the vacation was wherever we go, I want to make sure I can see the island. And when we had done all-inclusive in the past, we were in Jamaica, we really didn't leave the resort. It was all R&R. So we stayed on the beach, we stayed by the pools, that kind of thing. And I think it makes sense when you know that's kind of what you're going to do. But I feel as though if you do decide you're going to go out every day and you're going to travel and look to see what's happening on the island, I feel like you lose out on your all-inclusive benefit, because as soon as you buy one meal outside of your door, you are spending more money than you would have been spending if you had done the all-inclusive in the resort. So for example, most of the time when we went out to eat, we got an appetizer at the meal and a drink for each of us, and we were already at about $60, $70. So why do all-inclusive if you know you're gonna go out and eat? That money you spend toward all-inclusive is best used on the resort. Get your drinks there, get your food there, and stay. I actually created a video with my husband. We filmed this while we were in Aruba, where we talked about things we would do differently. So I'm gonna just share like one thing right now. What would we do differently in regards to like our hotel selection?
We'd stay over by the high rises because it's a more populated area. I feel like over here it's like a lot of the old people.
Depending on when you watch this video, that video may be already out, especially if you watch this video weeks, months, years after it was put up. However, if you're watching it today and it's the first week, then this video is not ready yet, okay? But in that video, we talk about things we would do differently. I would stay in the high-rise hotels the next time I go with my husband alone, because as two people who want to take advantage of nightlife, where we go to the nightclub, go to the bars, and also want to be able to just like walk out and just have everything at our feet, it would be better to be in the high-rise areas, because pretty much all those hotels are like on a strip, and you go outside and you can walk. There's lots of places to shop, lots of restaurants you can eat at, and a lot of the clubs are over there. And we found ourselves traveling by taxi to the high-rises very often to do the things we wanted to do. Now, if we were to go back as a family, I would 100% stay at Divi again. I would probably stay at Divi Phoenix, because Divi Phoenix is one of the more modern locations, and Divi Phoenix isn't as far from the high-rises as our hotel was, which if we were to go with the kids, and let's say we brought one of our moms or both of our moms, which is what we're planning to do the next time we go, we would be close enough that when we need to travel to the high-rises, our taxi fare probably won't be too much, and then our moms would have the luxury of being in a nice, not so overpopulated area, because the low rises are not as full. And you'll see, like, if you ever go to Aruba and you take my advice, if you stay in the low rises, it's a lot more of older people. Like, it's definitely the place for rest and relaxation. If you're looking for R&R, I really feel like the low rises is a good place, just from my perspective. And then the high rises is more like lit. Not to say that you can't go to the high rises and have that R&R, but there is a very big difference in how populated one area was over the other. You know, the high-rises was definitely more populated. Obviously, there's a lot more people there because those buildings hold more people than the low-rises do. And I would say also, in essence, the high-rises offer so much more right there in the vicinity. They're more modern and whatnot, so there's definitely going to be more people there than in the low-rises, where I found there to be a lot more older people, and I do mean old, like seniors and everything like that. We were some of the youngest people that we did see. There were some young people, but I feel like the majority in the low-rises was older people. Now, let me talk a little bit about taxi fare. And you guys, if you're watching my videos and you're like, oh my God, she's going on and on and on, I want to let you know that this is my style, okay? I know I'm saying this like maybe 20 minutes in, but this is my style. I'm very descriptive, I'm very informative, and I just love to give people the whole picture. If you've been one of my loves for years, then you know me already, right? Okay. So, traveling around the island, if you are wondering, like, what do I do when I get out of the airport? It's actually very easy. As soon as you get out of the airport, just like any airport that you've been in America, there's a taxi station there. And to get to the low rises, it is $22 US. And if you go into the high rises, it is $25 US. So we paid $22 and we gave like $1 to $2 tip. And when you're leaving from low rises to go to high rises, the taxi system is either $9 or $12. And that varies based on the time of day or the day of the week. The weekends, the fares are about $12. The weekdays, during the day, I believe it's $9, and then in the evening it's $12. It was kind of confusing because one second we would take a taxi and it would be $9. Well, actually, most of the time we took the taxi, it was $12, and then all of a sudden someone said it was $9, and I was like, okay. And then the next time I got in a taxi, I was like, $9, right? And the person said yes. It felt like there was an inconsistency with the pricing, and I actually talked about this in the things I hate about Aruba video that's coming up. However, I do remember reading on one of the taxi's windows that they actually had like the fare information, and it made sense that there was two different fares depending on the day or depending on the time. But if you're in the low rises and you need to travel to the high rises, you can expect to spend $9 or $12 each way to get you there. Whereas if you were to stay in the low rises, you probably wouldn't need a taxi at all. You would just walk to wherever it is you wanted to go, because it's very, very accessible, unless you wanted to go downtown. Most of the time we did go to the high rises, so you can imagine on any given day we were spending about $24 taking the fare there and taking the fare back. If you do that 3 days in the week, then you know you're spending excess of $75. You're spending upward of $75 just in taxi fare, and then don't forget you need to pay taxi to get back to the airport when it's time to go back home. So you can expect to spend about $100 if you're there for 4 days, in excess of that if you're there for longer, just on commuting. So that's why the low rises is one of those things where you got to decide what you really need and make a decision on that. Now, if you're thinking about nightlife, there were 4 clubs that we were able to see within like the vicinity of walking distance in the high rises. The one club that we did go to was called Gusto, and I loved it because Gusto was playing Caribbean reggae style music. I love reggae, I love dance hall, I love Caribbean music, like that's what I grew up to. So Gusto was playing that. When we got on the island and we asked where's a nightclub, that's where people told us to go. And right around the corner from Gusto, there was another nightclub. I did not get the name, but we saw people going, so we followed and we went near it, and we could see that people were going upstairs. And they were playing decent music too. The cover for Gusto was $5 and the drinks were like $11, so it wasn't that bad. The only thing with the nightclubs, and I think most areas in Aruba, is everybody smokes. So it was a little bit uncomfortable for me because I felt like one person would start smoking, the next person would start smoking. When they finished, someone else would start smoking, and it was just on and on and on. But the nightclub was not bad. It was not bad. It was partly covered, partly open, so it was cool. And then there were 2 more nightclubs. One was like bachata, salsa, merengue. They were playing all different kinds of music. And then across the street from that one was another one which is playing like regular modern music that you would hear here at the club, hip hop, R&B, pop, that kind of thing. I don't know the covers to any of the other clubs, but the Spanish club that was playing Latin music, we kind of just walked in it. And I was like, I want to see what they're doing, and we just walked in. And nobody said anything to us, so I'm going to assume there's no cover. I don't know. So excursions and other things you might want to do on the island. We did take an excursion. We went with De Palm Tours, and De Palm Tours was recommended to us by our hotel. However, when you get into the airport, right before you exit, there's books and papers and pamphlets of all types of things you can do. You can look them up beforehand, or you could just grab a stack of things when you get to the airport and then go to your room and decide what you want to do. Most of the tours are either half day or full day tours, and they all start in the morning. So regardless if you do half day, it's not like the later half, it's the upper half of the day, but it's very likely that there might be some that you can do later on in the afternoon. We did an off-road Jeep tour of the Aracock Park. It was amazing. I will insert footage here so you can see a little bit of our experience, but I really, really loved the park experience. The cost per person is $99. Our hotel did offer us 1 ticket free if we listened to their vacation club spiel. We did do it. We did become vacation club members. If you want to hear more about vacation club membership and all of that stuff, I'll put the link to my podcast where I talk a lot more about that. I don't want this video to be about that because this video is almost like 30 minutes already. So you can listen to that there. And we did get the voucher, so we got 1 free, $99, and 1 free. And also by listening to the spiel of the vacation club, we were able to get $50 towards my birthday dinner. We went to Benihana's and we were able to save $50 on that, and the total amount was like about 100 or something. So it was like 51. It was like kind of like one of us got our meal for free. Another way that we were able to save a little bit of money, like I said, this is not about being budget friendly. However, we didn't eat all of our meals outside. The resort had a full kitchen, like I said, and while I didn't cook anything per se, we did eat oatmeal every morning. So for 60 cents, we could get an oatmeal at the local market, which was right on our resort, and they had instant oatmeal, 60 cents a pack. I would have 1 to 2 packs most morning, so my breakfast was $60, 60 cents or $1.20, and my husband would have about 3 packs. So every morning, his breakfast was $1.80, and we would have that with water. We bought a lot of water on the island. We even bought wine, but it was a little bit too bitter for my taste, and for the most part, we went out to various places. I'm really feeling like this video is just getting way longer, but I do have more to tell you guys, so bear with me. I tried to keep my receipts. So we did go to a restaurant called Yamanja.
Funny little joke about Yamanja. Every time I say the name, my husband hears it as like your mother or your mama. So I'm like, Yamanja, and he's like, oh! Silly.
One One day we visited downtown and I took so many beautiful pictures. My husband is an amazing photographer. And Yamanja is a wood-fired grill restaurant. It is downtown, like I said, and it is a really good restaurant. The food is amazing. We got 2 drinks, dessert, an appetizer, and our meal, and we spent $107. We went to a women's weaving museum, which was downtown.
A museum. So we're gonna explore this. It was $5 to get in. Let's see what they got going on here.
And we paid, I believe, $10 for that. It was $5 each. It was called Museo Historico Aruba. That was downtown. The museum wasn't that great. There wasn't much to see. There wasn't much in there. I'll insert pictures so you can see what I did see. But it talked about hat weaving and how women led that in Aruba, which brought a lot of money to the island. And that was $10. We did eat at one of the restaurants on the resort. The first time we ate there, we spent about $76 at one of the resort restaurants called Sea Breeze. There was one other restaurant we ate at. I'm trying to find the receipt, but I can't. I don't remember how much we spent at the other restaurant, but I'll add it all up and we'll put a number together so that way you can see how much we spent at the various restaurants for food. But all in all, you know, I'm probably gonna guess and say that we spent less than $1,000 between taxi and food for 2 people for about 4 or 5 days. I would say we spent about $1,000 or less. And some other things you want to keep in mind, obviously, is if you are a shopper and you know you want to go and you want to get like souvenirs or you want to get clothing and things like that, if that's you, then you need to really budget that into your plans. That's not us. I think my husband bought a bell for a friend who collects bells, and honestly, I bought myself a magnet. That was it. We don't really do souvenirs. Oh, my husband bought a hat because the day we were taking photos downtown, it was really, really hot. It's hot in Aruba, and he needed something because he was really overheating. I didn't buy anything else. I didn't need anything else. I wasn't trying to get anything else, but if that's you, then you definitely need to budget that. And of course, you're gonna check in luggage. So for the 2 of us, $50 to check in our luggage, 1 each of us to go, and then $50 to come back. And then of course, depending on where you live, you need to commute to the airport. So for us, we live about 45 minutes from the airport, so it's $50 to go to the airport, and then it's $50 to come back. So just like luggage and commuting locally, it was about $200 for us in that department. So that is how much it costs to travel to Aruba for me. Not budget friendly, just what it costs. And don't forget, if you would like more information on vacation clubs, check out my podcast. If you have any questions that I did not answer in this long ass video, don't hesitate to ask. I will definitely get back to you as best as I can in the comments. And then I am coming to you with 3 more videos about Aruba, things we would do differently if we traveled again. That will be very helpful for you. Number 2 is going to be things we loved, and then things we hated about Aruba. And I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video. And yeah, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And as always, I love you for watching. Bye.